Alrighty, let's go ahead and start lesson 8.1. So while we did not have a test over chapter 7, that is totally fine. We're just going to move forward. You guys had assessments with your quizzes and everything, so I'm okay moving forward. We can touch back on it towards, once we get back to school or whatever, not something we need to worry about. But let's go ahead and start lesson 8.1, circumference. I've got all of the key vocab written down already, so as I talk, if you want to pause the video to give yourself more time, absolutely do so. But at the moment, I am not going to be writing anything specifically. You are allowed to use a calculator for chapter 8, so that's exciting. But remember, be smarter than your calculator. Be sure if it says round to the nearest tenth, do so. Do not round in the middle of your calculations. For pi, instead of using the pi button, you are using 3.14. I'll kind of remind you of these things as we go, but just remind yourself, you are smarter than your calculator. If you are looking at all of this, all of these numbers, and you plug it in, you're like, if it looks strange to you, it's probably because you've typed in something wrong or you didn't use parentheses where you needed to. Again, just be smarter than your calculator. Alrighty, so keywords that we need to keep in mind first is circle, a set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a point called the center. So we're all familiar with circle, but I think that definition is a little more detailed than maybe what we had thought prior. So all of the points on this circle are the same distance from the center as every other point, right? So that is a circle, same distance from the center. And if we look, this center, the center line going from the center to the edge of the circle, that is called the radius. That's the distance from the center to any point on the circle. Diameter is this green line, so I have highlighted everything in the same color that I used on the circle, just so you know. Diameter is the green line, and that is going from one point of the circle through the center to the other side, another point on the circle. Circumference is the distance around the circle. So this entire distance around the circle. Circumference is kind of like the perimeter, but perimeter is only of polygons, is on polygons. Circumference is on a circle. To find the radius and define the diameter, they are related because the radius, again the pink line, is half of the diameter. Or if you are given the diameter, you divide it by 2, you'll get the radius. So our formula for radius is diameter divided by 2. The formula for diameter is 2 times the radius. Now, be very aware of that because as you work through the homework, they will give you one and not the other. So depending on what you need, just be very careful in terms of what number you use. So, example 1. The diameter of a circle is 14 inches. Find the radius. Well, the radius is half of the diameter, so still in highlighter. R equals 14 over 2, and 14 over 2 divided by 2 is 7. Don't forget your units. 7 inches is the radius. So pretty straightforward, simple. So now, given the radius, if the radius is 8 feet, find the diameter. Diameter is radius times 2. So 8 times 2 gives us 16. And again, don't forget your units, it's 16 feet. Now keep in mind, be sure you are writing each example, each picture, if there's a drawing. Be sure you are showing all necessary work. While I cannot see your notebook, I can't see what you're writing down, if we practice the process, when we come back, when you are expected to show your work for either myself or Mrs. Nielsen, you will be prepared because you've practiced the process. Do not skip out on that just because I can't see your work. All right, circumference. There are two formulas, again, one using diameter, one using radius, to find the circumference. So C equals pi times d, which is the diameter, or C equals 2 pi r, so 2 times pi times the radius. So 2 times the radius gives us the diameter. So either of these work. I typically use this formula only because when I think circles, I think either circumference, 2 pi r, or I think area, which is pi r squared. So it's still using the same numbers, same variable r, but that's just what I'm used to, so that's what I will use in the homework answer key. That's what I'll use during these examples, but either way works. And remember, pi is about 3.14, so when you are plugging it into your calculator, do not press the pi button. Make sure you are pressing 3.14. Your book will also tell you that you can use 22 over 7. It's not necessary. It's easier to write a decimal anyway, but 22 over 7 is 3.14. Okay, so that is the end of these notes. These notes are pretty short. Again, feel free to pause or scoot back if I went too fast. But let's do some got it's. So I am going to, let's assign, oh my gosh, I keep writing the highlighter. Let's do got it's on page 6, let's see, 614 and 615. Go ahead and pause the video at this point, and then I will make another video of those got it's.